All right.
Welcome, everybody, to the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. We're at Week 15 on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I am your co-host for the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpaster. And right now, I would like to welcome in the first of my two co-hosts, Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Schmitty?
Doing great. Doing great. Been a great day.
Are you being sarcastic?
Pretty much, yeah.
I figured that. All right, next up, we have a CFL legend, and yes, since he's a legend, he's really old. Help me welcome to the show, Robert Drummond. How you doing, Robert?
Doing pretty good. No complaints except Orange didn't fare as well as I thought they would, and my Eagles lost too. So, but hey.
You know what? That Eagles loss hurt me more than it did you, and I didn't even play for him because I had a 5-team parlay. If that game comes in on a $10 bet, I make $265. Son of a bitch.
Wow.
I know, but
I don't gamble.
Yeah, me neither. And when I do, I gamble $10. All right, let's go ahead and let's start off with your BC Lions, who seized the opportunity and defeated the Ottawa Redblacks 29-5 at BC Place on Friday night. The win marked their first home win of the season, their second win overall. Mike Riley played fairly well. The Ottawa Redblacks are terrible right now, Brian. So is this a case of BC's getting better, or Ottawa just is that bad?
I think this is maybe more Ottawa is just that bad. I think Ottawa may start to get to that point of being the worst team in the CFL right now. They are just playing horrible.
I think they've been that way for a few weeks. Brandon Rutley, 20 carries, 111 yards. Mike Riley, 20 for 29, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. What's your take on the BC Lions? Are they maybe where your Alouettes were 6 or 7 weeks ago, where they're starting to try now?
With a 2-10 record, I can't sit here and say that they're turning things.
Yeah, especially when the wins against Ottawa.
Yeah, but it's tough for these guys in the season because what are they really playing for? They're playing for pride. They're playing for to get noticed by teams for next year. So that's got to be to put yourself in a tough situation, But I give them a lot of credit for going out there, playing with heart, and winning, as they did. But again, it was against Ottawa. Ottawa may be the worst team in a long time I've seen.
All right, next up we have Trey Robertson's blocked Hamilton's game-winning field goal attempt in the final minute to help to give the Calgary Stampeders a 19-18 win over the Tiger Cats on Saturday. The Stamps now hold an 8-4 record after winning 3 straight games since Bo Levi Mitchell's return from injury. So, I tend to look at this way, Robert. Hamilton went there and could have easily won this game. They had a blocked field goal. Dane Evans, 34 for 43, 360 yards. So, Hamilton, to me, with their backup quarterback, I mean, this almost kind of vindicates how good this team has become, Robert, even though they lost the game.
Hamilton's a very dangerous team. They did this. They must be the strong Calgary team. That Calgary, with a backup quarterback, as you said, it's to put yourself in a situation like that, to have the team, most like the New England Patriots of the NFL, to say to themselves, like, we escaped one. It took a spectacular special teams play to win this game, or Hamilton could have won this game. So that's got to be sitting in the minds of the rest of the league, going into the end of the season, getting ready for the playoffs, because Hamilton's legit.
Yeah, and Calgary's legit also. But should we continue to call Dane Evans a backup quarterback? Because he's obviously not.
I don't think they have quarterback controversy, but he's not a backup quarterback. He's definitely a starter in this league.
Do we have a controversy, Brian, though, if Masoli was to come back? Because Dane Evans has played, he completed almost 80% of his passes at Calgary.
Gotta play the hot hand. I don't think it's a controversy. You can't change quarterbacks at this point when he's obviously shown that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, and another guy who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Bo Levi Mitchell. And they treaded water with Nick Arbuckle, and now they've got Bo Levi back. So Calgary's right there in play again, as they always are, Schmidt.
Yeah,
Brian, what'd you do? I hear the cops are coming.
I was going to say, somebody's coming to get us. Calgary,
Not us.
Calgary.
You don't live anywhere near me or Robert. They're coming to get your ass.
They're not coming to get me. But Calgary's, playing Calgary football, and Bo Levi Mitchell is the, CFL equivalent to Tom Brady. Just, goes out there, wins, does what needs to be done. But the only difference is he's got to, when they get to the Grey Cup, he's got to win, and that's just something that he's struggled with recently. So it'll be interesting to see how they do come playoff time. But in the regular season, though, he's been pretty good.
All right, Brett Lothar kicked a game-winning 39-yard field goal with under a minute left to lift the Rough Riders over the Alouettes 27-25. And this is a game where Montreal led into the fourth quarter, Brian. Saskatchewan outscores them 17-7 in that fourth quarter. I think it's safe to say, by looking at this, even Edmonton, if they were to be healthy, all 6 teams that go into the playoffs in the CFL are capable of making a run and winning the Grey Cup.
Yeah, and I really think this game is even though it was a loss for Montreal, showed that they've got a lot of potential to be a dangerous team. It's a loss, but at the same time, sometimes you got to look at a loss and say, you know what, we're talking about the Montreal of old, and now we're seeing this new Montreal team just making plays, winning football games, and even in a loss, they played pretty well. So again, a dangerous team. You really got 2 dangerous teams here.
Yeah, and Cody Fajardo, Vernon Adams Jr., I think guys that have exceeded expectations this year. And the runners, we might as well ask Robert about this. He was a pretty good running back. William Powell, 15 carries for 94 yards. On the other side for Montreal, William Stanback, 12 carries for 57 yards, scored a touchdown. Both of them scored a TD. These are 2 teams that can beat you through the air. They can beat you on the ground. And I think it's safe to say with Adams Fajardo, the reason they have evolved and matured so quickly is because both of these teams can run the ball and both teams' offensive lines are solid.
I agree. These are 2 solid teams that understand that when it gets late this season, the weather starts to play a factor in the games, that running becomes, quite important, and even with William Powell being able to rush for over 6 yards a carry, that's key. 2 runs and that's a first down, and that's key. You always want to be able to move the chains. That's one thing we always said as a team. That don't worry about breaking the big run, don't worry about making the big plays. Just go out there and move the chains, because eventually, as you move the chains on the field, what happens? You get points off of that, whether it be a touchdown, a field goal, or Rouge, I got that in there somehow. But you can always get points by moving the chains, and that's going to be very important for these teams that have both very solid ground games.
All right, let's go ahead and pick the games for this week. We'll start off with Robert. I know you're never a homer, and you probably definitely won't be now. Calgary at Toronto.
You're kidding, right?
No, that's who's really playing. I was.
You know what? Toronto's going to put up a fight. They're going to battle, because I've said that for the past few weeks of watching them play, and then just not caving in when they really can, or have every reason to. But they'll put up a fight. But I expect Calgary to win this game by a touchdown or 2.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, Toronto, I think, will fight. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But at the end of the day, Calgary's just too strong, so we'll take Calgary.
All right, I'm going to go with Calgary also. Next up, Hamilton at Edmonton. The question here, Brian, is do you know the status or have heard anything about Trevor Harris? Because I heard that it may even be a game-time decision this week.
That's really the last thing I've heard. But even with that,
he did practice today.
Oh, well, that's encouraging. But still don't take Hamilton.
All right. I'm going to take Edmonton. What the hell? I just want to be different sometimes. And my different last week came a blocked field goal short of being right. Robert?
I'm going to go ahead and the Tiger Cats. I mean, they've shown us how talented they are. They've shown us how tough they can play good teams on the road. And Hamilton is just, with a blocked field goal away from, having a road trip where they have the victory against Calgary. In Calgary, now they get a chance to redeem themselves against the Eskimos. And I just think that there's just too much riding for them on this game. Just posturing rise, putting themselves in the position and let the rest of the league know that they're for real.
Yeah, Hamilton actually can clinch a playoff spot this week. Next up, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will travel to Montreal to play the Alouettes. Robert, this is all of a sudden a really interesting matchup.
This is a very interesting matchup. I'm going to go with the Alouettes. Just gut feeling just tells me the way they've been playing, and that team was beginning to make noise and just make moves for themselves. But I'm just going with the Alouettes. I just feel something just tells me Montreal can win this game.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a good feeling that Montreal's going to win this. I think that when it comes right down to it, going to be a really good game. But something about Montreal right now, I just think that you can't really sleep on them. And I think that some people, I've read something earlier today where some people are still kind of calling what they're doing kind of flukish, and I don't agree with that. I think this is a team that has really built themselves to believe that they can, be a team that can contend once playoff time comes.
All right. I'm going to go with Winnipeg because I like to be different. And Andrew Harris is back this week, and I think he's the best running back in the CFL. I think he puts them over the top, and they win a really close game. Next up, we have probably the game of the week. No doubt the game of the week. BC versus Ottawa, Schmidt.
BC.
Yeah, I'm going BC too. Robert?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be different. I'm going with BC also. Ottawa is just horrible.
Well, see, the key to being different is be different when the game's like a 60-40 game, not a 95-5 game.
Ottawa's just not good. Not this year.
Yeah, not this year. All right, Eddie. Let's do it this way. Right now, as we look at the standings in the CFL, I think it's pretty obvious who the 6 playoff teams are going to be. And when we look at this, right now, Winnipeg's in first, a game up on Calgary and Saskatchewan. Edmonton's sitting at 6-6. Looks like they're going to get the 6th spot, though, because I don't think Ottawa or BC is going to get up to 7 or 8 wins this year. If you had to give me your Grey Cup favorite right now, Brian, who would it be?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know. I think we need to ask Robert first, because I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
All right, Robert.
That's tough. Out of Winnipeg and Hamilton, I'd say, and I'd be leaning more towards Hamilton. Just from the so-called quarterback controversy that they don't have, is going to make those guys, when Masoli comes back, play that much even better and at an even higher level. They've proven they can, win on the road, play tough games on the road against quality opponents, and that's just something special about that, psychologically going to the game. I told you, this game is a lot more psychological than it is physical. And teams that can gain an advantage are teams that have a huge advantage going into the playoffs.
All right, Brian, your turn.
Hamilton, Winnipeg, I can see both sides of it. As much as I would like to maybe say Hamilton, I think maybe I'd go with Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think Hamilton, Winnipeg. I think you got to throw Calgary into the conversation, especially since they're a team that nobody's really talking that much about. So there's not the pressure there usually is in Calgary. I think Saskatchewan would have a shot here too. But I think it comes down to Winnipeg, Hamilton, and Calgary. And I think that both of them have good defenses. I mean, defensively, offensively, their stats are almost the same for both of them. They're both undefeated at home. They both play 500 on the road. I think that I would go with Hamilton, though. Who'd you go with?
Here's the thing. I went with Winnipeg, but here's the thing. Is this the first time that I can remember where legitimately you can look at 4 teams and legitimately have an argument? Which I think
you could look at 6 teams. How about this argument? Edmonton has been beat up and hurt all year, but defensively, they're really good. And Trevor Harris is a damn good quarterback. Montreal, you got Vernon Adams, you got Stanback. They can run the ball. They can play defense. I think there's 6 really good teams here that are going to compete in the playoffs, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Schmidt, do you have anything smart to say?
Oh, I always have things smart to say, but anything I say now would be construed as sarcastic. So,
yeah. Well,
I'll just be good.
All right. How about you, Robert?
I don't know. What, E equals MC squared? You know,
I'm going to go with 3 plus 3 is 6. How about that? I went to Indiana State. Robert went to Syracuse. So, and Syracuse got bludgeoned again, Robert.
Oh, yes, they did. I know. I mean, trust me, I've been hearing on talk radio shows and television and radio all week long here. It's like, oh, they'll right this ship, though. It's a young team. It's a great coach. You know, I really like the direction Favors is heading with these guys, you know, but it wasn't anything good. It takes time, you know. It doesn't happen overnight.
Well, this is a team also for years that wasn't even in any conversation. So now they are.
I got to say one thing, that seeing that crowd Saturday was pretty good. I remember back in Robert's day when that place was packed in just the atmosphere, and it seemed like that atmosphere was back again on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a great feeling, a great crowd. I mean, over the past few years, it's been packed with space. Now at least it's got a lot of orange in there, including Clemson, you know, and at least it was fun to watch and fun to see. That's what college football is about for those young kids, you know. They'll remember that experience. Granted, it was a loss, but they'll remember that for a lifetime.
Hey, and I got to bring this up to you, Robert. We do an NFL Pick'em show where we pick against the point spreads. If you had to guess through 32 games, what do you think Schmidt's record is? Picking games against the point spread.
Against the point spread?
Yeah.
Ooh, 500?
Bad.
Schmidt was 500. He'd be a genius. He's 6-26, bad. Robert.
Wow.
Yeah.
6-26.
Wow.
See, Robert, if you watch the NFL, we could add you to the show in week 4, and you would start off like 6 games behind Schmidt.
Yeah.
And be
thanks for bringing it up, by the way.
Well, I didn't know anybody could be that bad. It was 6-26. I just wanted to bring it up. I'm sure you won't miss any the rest of the year.
I'm sure I probably will.
I'm hoping so I can bring it up all the time. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Remember, you can catch us every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify. Wherever you find podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Robert Drummond, Brian Schmidt, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.